Hello and welcome back to Free Money NFL Week 2 edition, where I, Mitchell Kaminski, give my fantasy advice, who to start, who to sit, and my betting tips for Week 2. Last week I was 2-1 with the betting picks, and I told you to pick up Matt Ryan, who led the NFL in passing, so hopefully we can duplicate some success in Week 2. Alright, let's get right into it. Here's who you should start, here is who you should sit if you do fantasy football, or if you have daily fantasy, there's some good bargain buys in here that you should pick up. Start Jonathan Taylor. This is my start of the week here. Marlon Mack tore his Achilles last week, and he was splitting carries with Jonathan Taylor. Despite that, Jonathan Taylor had 57.7% of the touches in the backfield last week, and the way Philip Rivers turns the ball over, that number should go up this week, and they're playing a Vikings team that allowed the 7th most points to running backs in their opener. Jonathan Taylor can also catch the ball out of the backfield. He's going to get a couple cheap catch points, I think, on dump offs and swing passes. Start Josh Allen. The Dolphins allowed 25-point fantasy points last week to Cam Newton. Cam Newton's a running quarterback. Josh Allen is also a running quarterback. He does a lot of damage with his legs. I always like Josh Allen as a fantasy quarterback, but I like him particularly this week. Allen scored 21 points or more in all 4 meetings against the Dolphins in previous matchups. I think he's going to do so again this week. Start Benny Snell Jr. James Conner went down last week, and Benny Snell Jr. stepped up rushing for 113 yards. This week they faced a banged up Broncos team that allowed 116 yards to Derrick Henry. Benny Snell Jr. should be cheap on DraftKings. He's going for about $4,500 right now. If you need a flex option, Benny Snell Jr. is a good guy to pick up. And he should be available in most fantasy leagues too if you need a second running back, or like I said, a flex option. I really like Benny Snell Jr. this week. Start Julian Edelman. Seattle surrendered a league-high 179 yards to slot receivers in Week 1. Cam Newton should throw a lot more in this matchup. I don't think the running with him is going to be as sustainable. And who does he have to throw to? Not a whole lot of options besides Julian Edelman. Despite the fact Cam Newton didn't throw much, he still picked up 10 points, and I think the ceiling's a lot higher for him this week because Seattle's defense, they give a lot of points as fantasy points to slot receivers. Edelman should have a big game. Start Jared Cook. Jared Cook produced 5 catches for 80 yards last week against the Buccaneers. He's had at least 84 yards or a touchdown in 6 of his last 7 games dating back to last season. This is a great matchup in a revenge game against the Raiders. I really like Jared Cook this week. Start him. Sit Mark Ingram. The matchup against the Texans, it looks good on paper. But Ingram played fewer snaps than rookie J.K. Dobbins last week and is no longer the goal line back. He's not getting the touches in the red zone. His touchdowns are going to go down. Therefore, his points will too. Ingram's low floor is a huge issue this week. I would sit him. Sit Sammy Watkins. I know, this sounds crazy. He went off last week, but the Chargers had one of the best secondaries in football in 2019. He also had a big Week 1 performance. He racked up 198 yards, and after that, he never topped 65. Like the Chiefs, they have too many weapons. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You got Tyreek Hill. And then Travis Kelce. The ball's going around to a lot of different places. I think Sammy Watkins, he had a nice Week 1. I don't think it's sustainable. I would sit him this week. And finally, sit Rob Gronkowski. O.J. Howard had more targets as a tight end. Rob Gronkowski looked really slow. I don't think he's going to be a viable fantasy option at all this week or for the rest of the season, quite frankly. It really shows me otherwise. All right, finally, on to our betting picks. I like the Ravens over the Texans. It's a 7-point spread. I think the Ravens are going to easily cover. Last week, they had no problem covering against the Browns. They blew them out. They're 10-6 against the spread in 2019, and they're 9-2 all-time versus the Texans straight up. They won 47-7 in their last meeting in Baltimore, and I think that success is going to continue. The Ravens are going to run away with this one and easily cover. Take the Cowboys over the Falcons. The Cowboys are at home this week, and last weweek they lost to a very good Rams team, who I actually picked to win in one of my picks. But this week I'm taking the Cowboys. They're 8-1 straight up at home in 2018. They're 5-3 in 2019. They love playing at home, and Dak Prescott has been very good at home. The Falcons outgained the Seahawks last week, and they got smoked. That's all you need to know. Mike McCarthy, I think he's going to pick up his first one of the season. Take the Cowboys over the Falcons. Finally, Bucks over the Panthers. This is a big number, too. They're going to have to cover more than 7 points in this one, but I think they'll do that easily. Tom Brady is 3-0 after losing Week 1. I don't think he's going to throw a pick six this week. I don't think they're going to have a pump block this week. And I think the defense actually did a pretty good job against a good Saints team. They held Drew Brees to under 200 yards passing. So I like this Buccaneers team more than most. I think they lost to a very good Saints team, and Tom Brady is going to bounce back. This Panthers defense is horrible. They were one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year. This year they've gotten younger, more inexperienced, so they're going to get worse. Derek Carr and company shoot him up last week, and I think Tommy Boy will do the same. So those are your picks for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your football Sunday.